Right now at 5, a teen that caused a fatal crash over the weekend is charged with involuntary manslaughter and a DWI.
After a few showers and storms yesterday, today and the next couple of days a lot better, but there are more rain chances. We'll talk about all that coming up.
And residents of Pittsburgh head to the polls to decide whether or not to keep a public safety tax.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Hard to believe it's already Tuesday. I feel like we just wrapped up the morning show like just a few hours ago. It doesn't feel like it's the next day, and that's a good thing. It also probably means I didn't get enough sleep. But still, it is Tuesday across the area, and some of us saw some rain. Did you see any rain up in Pittsburgh yesterday?
I slept most of the evening.
That's what I should have been doing, but I did not. Well, for those of us who saw rain, much needed rain across the area, and the good news is we really didn't see a lot of strong or severe storms materialize out of this, which was good news for us. Right now, MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. Take a look. It's tranquil. It's nice. One car on the road. If only Range Line was like that all the time. You ever go driving very early in the morning and you're going down the roads in Joplin? Somebody not from the area, you might go down these roads, all these lights, all these lanes, all this stuff, and you go, why? Because there's nobody here. Well, you just wait a few hours, you'll see why. KDOT camera, 69 and 400 south of Pittsburgh, looking good as well. We have a nice start to our morning. Temperatures aren't too shabby out there. 51 in Joplin, south-southeast breeze at 7, clear skies as promised. We do have some patchy fog, but the good news is we're not talking a lot of dense fog out there, but do watch out. We have some patchy fog in the area. We're 46 in Fort Scott, Chanute, Neodesha, and Parsons, 51, Chetopa, Miami, and we're sitting at 50 in Neosho and Carthage. As we get our day started, this is the easiest forecast day I have had in a long time, at least since it was super hot, and thankfully it's not super hot. We got sunny skies to start, going into the mid-60s by late morning. Heading into the afternoon, beautiful day, a few passing clouds perhaps. Looking at highs near the mid-70s. Some of us might even push into the mid to upper 70s today. Tonight, another clear night. Absolutely beautiful out there. Again, a little bit on the chilly side. Not too bad. Lower 50s for our lows. Now, we are watching some thunderstorm chances, so I've got to press a few buttons here because they like this to stop at certain intervals. But as we head into Friday, we're watching the possibility of a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. And as we head into Friday evening and early Saturday morning, we are watching the possibility of a stray strong storm or two, maybe a couple of severe storms. There's still a couple of days out. We'll keep a close eye on that for you as we get closer. Now let's take a look at the rest of the week. Up until Friday, nice. We're looking at breezy conditions Thursday. We are talking some pretty gusty winds, 30, 40 miles an hour, which usually happens ahead of a storm system. Mid-70s, 80 Friday. Those storms, a little cooler Saturday. Some morning storms clearing out. And then we're in the 60s to the 70s to kick off the next work week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Authorities file a manslaughter charge against a driver in a fatal weekend crash in Joplin. The crash occurred Saturday evening on the 1200 block of Range Line. Police say 26-year-old Charles Richardson Jr. of Joplin was part of a group of motorcycle riders going north. They say a car driven by 17-year-old male left a convenience store and pulled into Richardson's path. Richardson has died at the hospital. Investigators say the 17-year-old was under the influence of marijuana. He has been arrested for involuntary manslaughter and driving while intoxicated. A woman is injured after driving her car into a Joplin building. It happened Monday afternoon on South Wall Avenue. Police say she was driving at an excessive speed and lost control going over some former railroad tracks before hitting the brick wall. The driver was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And now that recreational cannabis is legal statewide, Missouri cities and counties must work out the fine print. Webb City, Missouri joins the trend of Missouri cities setting a public use ordinance on recreational cannabis. City officials say this ordinance upholds the community standards with law enforcement backing.
It comes with a $100 civil penalty. It's just a way to prevent, like, for example, in King Jack Park around the ball fields or the kids' fields or something like that. We just don't really want anybody smoking marijuana there.
As of now, Webb City has 0 dispensaries. Today, Pittsburgh residents will get to vote whether or not to continue a public safety sales tax. The 0.05% tax went into effect in March of 2014. If approved, it would maintain that rate for the next 10 years. If not, it would expire next year. Pittsburgh Police Chief Brent Nargis says the tax allows the department to better enhance its services to the community with more staffing, technology, and equipment. On Monday, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed a bill cutting individual and corporate income taxes in the state by $124 million a year. The new law will cut the top individual income tax rate to 4.7% from 4.9%. The law also cuts the top corporate income tax rate by 0.2% down to 5.1%. State finance officials said that under the proposal, more than 1 million taxpayers who make more than $24,000 a year will receive a cut. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we take you to Carthage to meet some students who signed to continue to play at the college level. Plus, a nonprofit teams up with a sewing store to teach refugee women a new skill. And how weight loss in the elderly can be a sign something is wrong. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the Columbus High School baseball team is off to a hot start this season. The Titans are 7-1 in their first 8 games and have won 7 in a row. On top of that, they haven't allowed a single run in 5 straight games. Last night, Columbus aiming to stay rolling on the road for a CNC matchup against Galena. Galena gets 2 on in the first, but Seth Stover shuts it down, strikeout there. Then later in the inning, another punch out. Titans up 2-0 after 1. Top of the second, Caden Cox lines it into left center. It gets down. Jaspin Tanner scores. It's 4-0 Columbus. Going to the bottom of the second. Checking back in with Seth Stover on the mound, still cruising. He goes 4 shutout innings. Top of the third, Jaspin Tanner yanks one into the left field corner. Jack Villela comes home easily. Tanner in for the double. 6-0 Columbus after 3. Excuse me. 4th inning, Seth Stover not done. This time, he's at the plate, drills it high and deep to left center, clears the fence for the solo home run. Not the only long ball of the day for Columbus. Next inning, Landon Midget gets one up in the air to right center. That is gone. Solo shot for the senior catcher. Another Columbus win, another shutout. Titans beat Galena 12-0. Pardon me. Big softball matchup in Southeast Kansas with Girard hosting Pittsburgh. Trojans 5-0 coming in today. Pittsburgh 3-1. Purple Dragons hand Girard their first loss of the season, winning in a shutout 10-0. Megan Johnson throws 5 shutout innings and also hits a home run. Heather Mowdy 3 hits, 3 RBIs, and Maddie Burdick 1 for 3 with a home run. Former Neosho County pitcher Matt Strom comes up big for the Philadelphia Phillies. Strom goes 5 shutout innings against the Marlins and allows just 4 hits while striking out 6. He's thrown 9 shutout innings in his first 2 starts of the season. Strom played in Chanute in 2011 and 2012 and led the Panthers to a JUCO World Series appearance in 2012. Pair of Carthage High School student athletes get a chance to compete at the next level. Clay Kender and Davian Kine signed to continue their careers in college. Both of these guys kind of good at everything, but Kinder chooses to play baseball in college. He's signing to play at Coffeyville Community College. As for King, he will wrestle at Labette Community College. King is a 3-time state qualifier and 2-time state placers for Carthage in his high school career.
I like that the coach is really nice up there. He's a really good coach, and not only do they have a good wrestling program, they have really good schooling. Like, everything's nice up there. They have a good nursing program, and that's what I want to do.
They're gonna make you work hard, and I like that, and it's kind of scrappy baseball, and that's what I want to be a part of.
Well, still to come, have you ever wondered what an ancient Egyptian might have looked like? Well, look no further, as we've got the answer, but that's only if you stick with us. And you're going to want to stick with us for a check of that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. You may have just heard Ron, our producer. We were talking about our engineers, great team of guys. They enhanced the lighting for the weather section of the studio. And we were just talking about how bright it is. But take a look, though. I can get right up to this wall, And look at how crisp and clear that is. Usually if we get too close, there's a really bad shadow and it looks funky. So they did a great job. It's just really bright. Wakes you up. All right, MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. Not too bright. Sun's not up yet, but looks good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, just south of Pittsburgh. 7th and range line. Again, the shopping center. Their lights aren't on. I don't know what's going on, but it makes it look a lot darker out there, but I assure you, no power outages. We're at 51, clear skies, south-southeast breeze at 7 in Joplin. Temperatures across the region look like this: 46 Fort Scott, Chanute, Neodesha, Parsons, and Yates Center. 51s in Chetopa, Miami, Veneta, Nowata, and Monette, and some 50s, Lamar, Carthage, Neosho, and Anderson. As we get our day started, boy, sunny, clear, nice. Mid-60s by late morning. So we head into the afternoon. Sunny, clear, nice, maybe a passing cloud or two. Temperatures pushing right around the mid-70s. Some of us in southeast Kansas, though, could go the upper 70s today. We head into this evening. Sunny initially, then the sun goes down, of course, and we're moon clear, nice. Another beautiful night out there. Calm conditions back down to the lower 50s. We are watching, and the latest outlooks for what the Storm Prediction Center calls day 4, which is Friday, because each day, so today's day 1, tomorrow's day 2, etc. They just highlighted portions of southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma for some severe thunderstorms. So that's something that Doug had mentioned yesterday, and that is something that we are keeping an eye on. As we head into Friday evening, we're expecting some showers and thunderstorms to develop out in southeast Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma ahead of a dry line. Now, I just read this in the commercial break. They're expecting some good destabilization to take place across the 4 states ahead of this dry line, and they are anticipating some severe thunderstorms. Now, of course, we're still a couple, 3 days out, so things can change, but just a heads up, we're looking at the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms late Friday, and they're expecting them to move into western Missouri and parts of western Arkansas overnight into Saturday morning. So that's something we'll keep an eye on for you, but a heads up for you for Friday for the possibility of some strong thunderstorms. All right, mid-70s all the way through Thursday. We're talking 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts Thursday, so be aware of that. Thunderstorms Friday evening, 80. Clearing out Saturday morning. We drop back into the 60s, but then take a look at Monday. Spring has sprung as temperatures rebound nicely back to the mid-70s with sunny skies as we kick off the next work week. Whew, I'm out of breath this morning. A nonprofit in Arizona is helping refugee women to learn a new skill, one that hopefully can lead them to a new career, a new job, or even a business. Now, according to the Institute for Immigration Research, refugees have the highest self-employment rate in the country, and about 13% are women. Anita Roman has more.
Decide how much you need for your flap.
A Stitch in Time is giving a special group of women a second chance.
We want to give them an opportunity to learn how to sew and then use that skill for whatever they want.
This is Shop Refugee, a sewing training program specifically targeted for refugee women.
Go ahead and wind your thread.
Because it gives me, I learn about sewing and my style, clothes for my style. I can make my own clothes.
All of the seamstresses are current or former refugees and originate from countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, and Ethiopia. Some had previous sewing experience, but many learned all of their sewing skills taking classes at Shop Refugee.
I'm loving it. I started like 3 weeks ago, and I learned a lot of things, and it's a good skill to have as a woman.
So when you're adjusting to a new culture, there's a lot of new things to learn, a lot of higher expectations for the perfection of the product or showing up on a regular schedule.
The program teaches new skills, but also helps the women transition to a new life.
It makes it so much easier. Oh, yeah.
While there are language barriers, sewing allows teachers to use hand gestures. And more than that, even though they started out as strangers from different countries, these women become friends who look to one another for support.
Everybody's helping everybody, everybody's teaching everybody, and we all know that we're here to learn. We all know that we're not doing a perfect job, but that we're just trying to grow. And I think that helps create that camaraderie in the room where everybody's just working to better themselves.
Yes. All right, now lift up your needle.
And that brings us to our question for you this morning. What's a hobby or skill you'd like to learn? Cooking, baking, sewing, knitting, juggling? painting, gardening? Well, there's some good choices there, or perhaps something else. Well, we want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. And we will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, some women are finding it harder to access reproductive health care in the U.S. According to a new study, women are more likely to face challenges to get routine screenings and birth control than in recent years. Researchers analyzed survey data from thousands of women between 2017 and 2021. About 45% experienced at least one barrier to get service in 2021. That's up 10% from 2017. The most common challenges for women are finding a physician they feel comfortable with, cost, and getting child care. Researchers say broader restrictions on reproductive rights likely also play a role. A new study suggests when seemingly healthy older adults lose weight, it could signal an underlying issue. The research out in JAMA Network Open Monday features data from about 19,000 senior adults living in Australia or the U.S. during 2010 to 2014. They were all at least 65 years of age. The study showed a link between just a 5% weight loss and the risk of mortality, particularly in older men. According to the study's lead author, the findings suggest senior weight loss could be a warning sign for cancer or dementia. The study was not able to distinguish if people involved lost weight intentionally or unintentionally, and weight gain was not associated with mortality. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves an absolutely gorgeous day across the area. We'll tell you all about it when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office looks for a way to add a new drone to its force.
And we've got ourselves a pretty decent start to the day, and we are going to stay nice. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
DAV helps local veterans sign up for disability benefits.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:26. I'm Tanya Bond.
I'm Chris Warner. So I was just working on, we have a traffic alert for everyone this morning. If you are traveling on I-44 near the Carthage exit for I-49 North, there's been a crash involving a couple of tractor trailers. So this is a live look at the MoDOT camera there. This is eastbound traffic. You can see it's reduced to one lane, and we do have a crew on the scene. We have more information on this on our website. MoDOT officials expecting this to take about an hour or so to clear. So a couple of tractor trailers there. So if you're traveling east on I-44 towards Springfield near the Carthage exit, do be prepared for some traffic delays. KDOT camera 69 and 400 looking good this morning. We're looking great this morning. Our camera 7th and range line. We got clear skies, 51 in Joplin right now. South-southeast breeze at 7. Across the region, temperatures look like this. Got 48 Fort Scott, 49 Nevada, bunch of 46s, Yates Center, Neodesha, Chinook, Parsons, and Iola, 48 Chatopa, Miami, and 51 Neosho and Carthage. Get our day started. We'll have those sunny skies, temperatures pushing into the mid-60s by late morning. We got highs in the mid-70s. Some of us in southeast Kansas could even make the upper 70s, as we may have a passing cloud or two. It might look like that this afternoon. Otherwise, sunny skies. Same heading into the evening, except instead of the sun, it'll be the moon tonight. Clear skies. Lows dropping back down to the lower 50s. Now, we go through the next couple of days, mid-70s, Wednesday, Thursday. Watching Thursday, some winds gusting 30, 40 miles an hour, and that's ahead of this system Friday evening into early Saturday morning. We're watching the possibility of some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms later in the day Friday and again carrying into Saturday morning. Friday, though, 80. That system does cool us down a bit, but then we rebound nicely. We're back near 80 starting next week with some additional thunderstorm chances toward the middle of next week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. The city of Joplin has added new members to its payroll. The city hired 2 new rangers to help maintain and enhance the city's park system. KOAM's Shagun Bomdelay joins us from Landreth Park this morning and has more. Good morning, Shagun.
Thank you, Tanya. The city of Joplin, good morning, Tanya. The addition of these new park rangers will ensure that Joplin city parks are safe, clean and enjoyable for those who come to visit. The two new park rangers will work alongside the existing park staff to maintain the park and trails, monitor park activities, and educate visitors about the rules and regulations of the park system.
Citizens kind of felt unsafe in our parks, especially in the evening and whatnot. And then again, when we did our parks master plan, we did several community meetings, a survey, and that same concern was raised at that time as well.
The park rangers will also assist the police departments. They will report vandalism, park irregularities, and other illegal activities they find.
All right, thanks, Shagun. What's something that the Rangers look forward to doing as a part of their job duties?
I think when I spoke to one of the park rangers, they pretty much said they're looking to talk to more people, get in touch with the community, see a reason why to get up from bed every day and work for the city.
That's pretty good. All right, thank you so much, Shagun. Local veterans get some extra assistance signing up for disability benefits. On Monday, Joplin's Disabled American Veterans Chapter number 52 hosted a mobile assistance unit in Airport Drive. It was a chance for veterans to get assistance or get answers to questions regarding disability benefits. Officials say the Joplin DAV needs volunteers to drive veterans to medical appointments.
They get the satisfaction of trying to help a veteran. They may meet some new friends. They may meet some people that they knew before while they were in, or so it's a give and take situation on both ends. If you're interested, you can find contact information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office wants to add a new drone to its team, and now they're getting some outside help. KOAM's Carrie Worthen talked with them about how this is made possible.
When I found out what they were doing, one thing led to another, and we started Hero Fund USA.
Hero Fund is a private organization that helps raise money to provide gear and equipment to firefighters, EMS, and law enforcement.
Just like with Montgomery County, Kansas here, there's a need for a drone that they didn't realize they had until they needed one. And so we are in the process right now of raising money to help fund about a $25,000 drone project for the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department in Independence.
Detective and SWAT team leader Kyle Hand says the drones they use now have sensors that keep them from maneuvering to places needed. That's why they want a new drone with more features.
It doesn't have the sensors on there for the obstacles, so the pilot can make a smooth transition from room to room. Has infrared cameras on it so that we can see at nighttime, so it'd also be really handy for like wilderness missions that we have with a suspect or something out in the wilderness.
And drones are important because they can fly into an active crime scene or a school situation or a mall situation, or they can hover over a burning building to assess where hot spots are. With the thermal imagers that the drones we fund have, they can see through the roof into the building to see where there might be clusters of people and maybe one person standing in front of them, so you kind of get the picture of what's going on there before the first responders go into a dangerous environment.
Hero Fund will match half of the amount needed. So in this case, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is responsible for half of the cost of the drone. In Independence, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Daryl Smith with Hero Fund USA says that they've never had to turn anyone down when it comes to funding. You can find more information on our website about Hero Fund at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, this morning we're discussing learning a new skill or hobby.
Now, Stitch in Time is giving a special group of women a second chance. This shop is for refugees, and it's a sewing training program specifically targeted for refugee women.
All of the seamstresses are current or former refugees and originate from countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, and Ethiopia. Some had previous sewing experience, but many learned all their sewing skills taking classes at Shop Refugee. The program teaches new skills, but also helps the women transition to a new life.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's a hobby or skill you would like to learn? Got a lot of options there for you. So far, 34% of you say cooking and knitting, while 16% of you say painting or something that's not on our list. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, the app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Nobody wants to juggle right now.
That's all right. I couldn't do it either.
I've tried. I'm not very coordinated at that. That's a look at this morning's top news stories. Coming up on this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, a homeless woman teaches a boy there are more heroes than just Spider-Man or Superman.
Plus, decades of conservation efforts pay off for India as the tiger population is on the rise. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, French rescue crews have called off the search for victims of an avalanche after all of those missing have been found. Local authorities say the body of a sixth person was found on Monday, a day after the avalanche struck a popular ski resort in the French Alps. Dramatic video captures the avalanche as it rolled down a glacier on Monday southwest of Mount Blanc. The death toll rose to 6, including 2 mountain guides. 8 other people were found safe, and 1 person was taken to a hospital with injuries. There was no weather warning before the avalanche. Ever wonder what an ancient Egyptian might look like? Well, now you don't have to. Brazilian experts have used digital imaging to reveal the face of an Egyptian man who lived 35,000 years ago. It's a detailed facial approximation of a skull of Nazlet Khatar. The skeletal remains were discovered in 1980 in Egypt's Nile Valley. Experts believe the man was between 17 to 29 years old at the time of his death. He was also believed to be more than 5 feet and 3 inches tall. Researchers plan to show the facial reconstruction at an exhibit in the future. Decades of conservation efforts have paid off for India's tiger population. According to the latest census, more than 3,000 tigers roamed the Indian wild last year. That's more than double the population in 2006 when it reached record lows. Part of the reversal was the development of 53 reserves. Tiger numbers started declining in the 1940s from agricultural expansion, deforestation, and fragmented habitats. Poaching also played a factor. India officially banned tiger hunting in 1972, but it is still a major threat. And as renovations bring an iconic landmark closer to reopening, we take a closer look at the restoration of the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral. The landmark is scheduled to reopen to the public in Paris next year, 5 years after a devastating fire caused severe damage to the historic landmark. Jim Bitterman has more.
It was the most haunting image of a sickening afternoon. The spire of Notre Dame crashing through the cathedral roof as flames burned all around. In the 4 years since, as giant oaks have been felled and the ashes cleared away, shock and dismay has turned to confidence that the spire and the cathedral will rise again, and soon, if you believe the general who President Emmanuel Macron put in charge of rebuilding the monument.
The president said we will rebuild this cathedral in 5 years. It's the words of the head of state of France. And the reputation of France is at stake.
The general, once the chief of staff of the French army, went to visit an extraordinary woodshop in eastern France to inspect how the work is going. Here, carpenters are moving around tons of oak like children's building blocks to rebuild the spire that collapsed, as well as the rest of the cathedral's roof beams, which were destroyed in the fire. Cutting and fitting, precise down to the millimeter.
Well, much care and effort and money are being expended to make sure the reconstructed Notre Dame is just like the old one. The workers who are working on these giant pieces of wood say they are sometimes amazed at how they could have done all this 1,000 years ago.
One person who's had a better view than most of the Notre Dame reconstruction is photographer Thomas Van Houtrieve. His photos are going up along the walls of the Notre Dame worksite. He began taking pictures of the cathedral long before the fire, sometimes using an ancient wooden camera as old as the iconic spire itself. Van Houtrieve was then commissioned to document the work inside by National Geographic and the French establishment charged with the Notre Dame restoration and preservation. As the monument slowly rose again from the ashes, he emotionally recorded the work inside and outside.
When you're inside Notre Dame, you feel something. It's a place of reverence.
And when you're inside it and you see it in its damaged state, you feel something even more. I mean, it goes straight to your heart.
Van Houtreeve has watched firsthand as not only the damage from the fire was cleared away, but as well centuries of grime that had accumulated before the fire. In some ways, he believes, the newly restored Notre Dame will be even better than what was there before.
When they take the scaffolding out and we're able to see everything, I think it will look immaculate, beautiful, in a way we've never seen it before.
Let's look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We do begin with a traffic alert for you this morning. If you're traveling on I-44 near Fidelity, the Carthage exit, so I apologize, I had it backwards. These are the westbound lanes. Now, traffic is starting to move a little better, but you can see still have an overturned tractor trailer. So what happened is one overturned, it was hauling cattle, and the cattle got out and were in the eastbound lanes and caused another truck to swerve to avoid them, and that truck turned over. Now, the eastbound lanes are clear. Traffic's still moving slowly, though, so if you are heading out on I-44 near the Carthage exit, you want to make sure that you plan appropriately. But as you can see, crews getting this cleaned up pretty quickly. It should be gone before too much longer. Camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh from KDOT. Looks pretty good so far, and we are looking good out there. Not too bad. Clear skies, 51 in Joplin right now. South-southeast breeze at about 7 miles an hour. Let's take a look at temperatures across the area. We got 46 in Iola, 43 Fort Scott. There's a lot of 46s. We're talking Nevada, Parsons, Neodesha, Sedan, Chanute, Yates Center. 48 Chatopa, Miami, Independence, and some 51s for Lamar, Carthage, and Neosho. A little bit warmer. Bonnet 52, Cassville sitting at 53, so not a bad start to our Tuesday. And it's going to be a great day for us. We've got sunny skies through the morning hours, pretty mild temperatures, making it up to about 66 by 11 o'clock this morning. As we head into this afternoon, beautiful day. We could see a passing cirrus cloud or two out there. Otherwise, clear skies, sunny. Temperatures pushing the mid-70s, and some of us, especially in southeast Kansas, might even see the upper 70s today, so a beautiful day. We head into tonight, beautiful night. Things look great. We'll have this clear skies, beautiful weather, good temperatures, lower 50s as we head into the night. Then changes start to make their way into the forecast. So let's take a look down the road. Now, we're going to press the button a few times because this stops at certain intervals, as you can see. But as we head into our Wednesday, looking great as well. We head into our Thursday, temperatures look great, but the issue we run into on Thursday is we are looking at some wind gusts pushing 30, 40 miles an hour on Thursday, and that's ahead of a storm system I'm going to talk about here in just a second. So Thursday, do be aware that even though it's going to be partly cloudy, beautiful day, warm temperatures, it's also going to be very breezy, very dry. Then we head into our Friday. Now on the future track here, it wants to put some storms into the area a little earlier in the day, but our best opportunities are going to come late Friday evening into very early Saturday morning. Storm Prediction Centers highlighted parts of southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma for a severe risk for Friday night, and they do believe that those storms will survive into western Missouri and parts of western Arkansas. They're expecting a dry line. We're looking at a dry line that's going to set up, and ahead of that, there will be plenty of moisture, plenty of instability. So we are keeping our eye on the possibility for those strong to severe thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday morning. Now, as we head into early Saturday morning, could be a few lingering storms, but they will kick out of here pretty quickly. But with those storms on Friday, it's something we want to keep an eye on, something you want to keep an eye on. So make sure you keep it right here to KOAM, to Doug, Sam, and I. And, of course, download that KOAM Skywatch Weather app, the best resource you could have. It keeps the entire Skywatch Weather team right in the palm of your hand. Latest severe weather alerts, latest forecast videos, everything you need to know. All right, so tomorrow and Thursday, aside from the wind Thursday, not bad. We're looking pretty good, mid-70s. Now, Friday, boy, ahead of this, check that out. We're going to make it toward 80 degrees, maybe even into the lower 80s in some areas, so a very warm day. And this system is enough, though, that it will kick our temperatures down a bit here. We drop back down to 66 for Saturday, 41 for the low. Then we turn into next week. We start to turn around quickly because spring has really sprung out there. Looking great. We start climbing back toward 80 by next week, and then look at these overnight lows. Tuesday night near 60. Same on Wednesday night, near 60 for an overnight low. That's great weather for the evening. But we're also watching the possibility of some of those pop-up storms, similar to what we saw yesterday in parts of southeast Kansas. And we're still pushing the 80s until Thursday when we do cool down just a little bit. So real quick, I want to go back to that traffic alert and just recap for you this morning what we've got on this. It's at I-44 and 49 near Fidelity. This is the westbound lanes. You can see traffic moving slowly, but a few cars out there. Traffic eastbound moving slowly as well, but MoDOT reports eastbound lanes are clear, still working to clear this truck here. And of course, we have the latest information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back with more right after this.
A 3-year-old boy was ecstatic to get his first bike. It was a Spider-Man model, but when that bike got stolen, it was a real hero that came to his rescue. James Corrigan has the details on this heartwarming story.
There's no feeling like when a boy climbs his first bike.
Yeah, look, good.
Especially one he can talk to.
Cranking, 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 cranking. Like it, go back in the puddle.
3-year-old Will Fuller Wright of Rockland knows that feeling well after his parents bought him his very first bike, one a bit more super than most. Why is Spider-Man your favorite superhero?
Because he saves buddy by catching bad guys in the net.
But last week, on Will's first day out with the bike, there was one bad guy Spider-Man couldn't avoid.
My bike got stolen there.
We went to Walgreens and we stopped and put his bike on the sidewalk and went inside to get him a little candy treat and said, "Woohoo, you made it half a mile." We came out and the bike wasn't there. And I walked up and down the length of the sidewalk thinking, because there's those big cement columns, so I thought maybe I just couldn't see it, but it wasn't there.
Security footage showed that someone did see it and took it, along with Will's mother, Liz Fuller Wright's faith in her fellow neighbor.
It was a mix of emotions. I mean, sad, disappointed, angry at the state of humanity. He's 3 years old. This is his first bike, and you don't want to think that anybody would do that.
Rockland police posted a surveillance video of the thief on Facebook to try and find the stolen bike. But what they found instead was something priceless.
I happened to put Facebook on and I saw that story about the little boy who had his bike stolen.
The woman you're hearing from is homeless and wishes to remain anonymous. She's based out of her car, which is where she was at an Oxford County gas station when she saw the news and decided to act.
What this little boy was thinking when he came out of that store with his mom and saw his bike missing, I cried. I worry about what that little boy would be growing up and thinking about the world. I went to Walmart and I purchased the one and only bike, got him the helmet, the lock, and then I took it to Rockland.
She spent what little money she had on the identical bike and dropped it off at the Rockland police station. The department's subsequent Facebook post received an overwhelming reaction, with the Mid-Coast Recovery Coalition now accepting donations for her as a means of thanks. But for Will and Liz, no amount of thanks would be enough.
I was able to give her a call, and we spoke for a few minutes. And she told me her story, and I couldn't believe it. She's not someone flush with cash, but she gave so much, so generously to a little boy she'd never met, never known, because she wanted him to be happy. She didn't want him to think that there were bad guys in the world. She wanted him to have faith in humanity.
If you were to meet this boy, what would you say?
I think I would probably just cry, to see the happy joyness in his face. And I'd probably let him know that no matter what happens in life, we go through our troubles, our ups and downs, but there's always somebody out there that's watching over us. He's never alone.
And so for Will, his first bike is now his second. And the superhero whose name it bears is also second to the real hero who showed a little boy that superheroes do exist.
Mid-Coast Recovery has collected almost $1,200 in donations to support this local hero. We'll be right back. Well, it's become an annual tradition at Brookfield Zoo, as well as a sign that spring has sprung when giraffes are given access to their outdoor habitat for the first time of the year. With the forecast of consistent warmer weather, Arnita, Jasari, and Potaka were able to stretch their legs in the milder temperatures. The giraffes have been known to run around when let outdoors for the first time of the season. As the animals get older, it seems they go at a more leisurely pace, but they still enjoy the sunshine and being outside. Who wouldn't? All right, a nesting red-tailed hawk welcomed 2 baby chicks atop her water tower perch over the city of Clovis, California. That's according to the local police department. This was back on April 6th. The first 2 eggs from the hawk's nest hatched on Wednesday, giving the baby birds their first glimpse from the Old Town Clovis water tower. Clovis Police Department is documenting their journey on their Facebook page. CCTV showed the attentive mother and 2 fuzzy babies nestling in the sun. A red-tailed hawk was also spotted nesting at the water tower in 2021.
We've got ourselves an absolutely gorgeous day across the area. Sunny skies to kick off our morning. Temperatures getting mild, warming back to the mid-60s by late morning. Temperatures this afternoon, mostly sunny skies, maybe a passing cloud or 2. Otherwise, mid-70s. Some of us in southeast Kansas could even push the upper 70s today. So a beautiful day. We head into this evening, a beautiful night. Clear skies dropping back down to a low of 51. Now, we are watching the possibility. First off, on Thursday, wind gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour, mid-70s. Friday night into early Saturday morning, strong to severe thunderstorms possible. 80 Friday, 66 Saturday. So that's something we're keeping an eye on for you. We'll have more on your forecast and more local news when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 6, authorities in Joplin charge a 17-year-old driver with manslaughter in a fatal crash over the weekend.
We've got ourselves an absolutely beautiful start to the morning and a perfect day ahead of us. We'll talk about that and some incoming storm chances coming up.
City looks to become the latest Missouri city to enact a public use ordinance on recreational cannabis.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well,
Good morning.
Good morning. It is what, 6 o'clock now?
I think it is, and I'm
here
Tanya
on the KOAM Morning News. Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. And you're Chris Warner.
Last I checked, I could be wrong. We could be wrong.
I could be Chris Warner.
It's a pot here. There's that. We got it ready. Go tell people what it's doing out there.
All right. Well,
It's pretty easy
today. That would require
today.
me to pay attention to your first 2.
Well, but it's
your
so easy
first hour.
today. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll do this one.
It's going to be a nice day.
It is. I will do this one for you, and then we'll have you try the second one. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. Well, that's what we'll do. We've got a beautiful day ahead of us right now. We got clear skies. It's wonderful outside. A little chilly for some. It was weird on my way in. I needed my heated seat on low because my seat was cold, but I needed the air at a decent temperature because I was warm. It was a very odd combination. Beautiful start to the day, though. MoDOT camera there, 20th and Rangeline. KDOT camera, 69-400, just south of Pittsburgh, also looks wonderful. We've got clear skies out there this morning. We're at 53 in Joplin. Light south breeze at 7 miles an hour. Across the area, temperatures are wonderful, and they're going to get even better. We got some cool spots. We got 46 Yates Center, Chanute, 47 Neodesha, 48 Parsons, Chetopa, Miami, 52 Neosho, 53 in Carthage, and 50 Monette, Cassville, and Stockton. As we get our day started, see, now this is what I was talking about, Tony. It's super easy. Look at this. This is easy. These are sunny skies. Sunny skies, mid-60s by late morning. We head into the afternoon. What is it? Mostly sunny skies yet again. Temperatures pushing mid-70s and perhaps into the upper 70s for some of us. Tonight we hang on to those clear skies and we drop back down to the lower 50s. We are tracking some storm chances for Friday, and we'll take another look at those in your complete forecast here in a few more minutes. Back to you.
All right. Well, authorities file a manslaughter charge against a driver in a fatal weekend crash in Joplin. The crash occurred Saturday evening on the 1200 block of Rangeline. Police say 26-year-old Charles Richardson Jr. of Joplin was part of a group of motorcycle riders going north. They say a car driven by 17-year-old male left a convenience store and pulled into Richardson's path. Richardson died at the hospital. Investigators say the 17-year-old was under the influence of marijuana. He has been arrested for involuntary manslaughter and driving while intoxicated. A woman is injured after driving her car into a Joplin building. It happened Monday afternoon on South Wall Avenue. Police say she was driving at an excessive speed and lost control going over some former railroad tracks before hitting the brick wall. The driver was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Well, today, Pittsburgh residents will get to vote whether or not to continue a public safety sales tax. The 0.05% tax went into effect in March of 2014. If approved, it would maintain that rate for the next 10 years. If not, it would expire next year. Pittsburgh Police Chief Britt Narges says the tax allows the department to better enhance their services to the community with more staffing, technology, and equipment. Well, now that recreational cannabis is legal statewide, Missouri cities and counties must work out the fine print. Webb City, Missouri joins the trend of Missouri cities setting a public use ordinance on recreational cannabis. City officials say this ordinance upholds the community standards with law enforcement backing.
It comes with a $100 civil penalty. It's just a way to prevent, like, for example, in King Jack Park around the ball fields or the kids' fields or something like that. We just don't really want anybody smoking marijuana there.
As of now, Webb City has 0 dispensaries. On Monday, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed a bill cutting individual and corporate income taxes in the state by $124 million a year. The new law will cut the top individual income tax rate to 4.7% from 4.9%. And the law also cuts the top corporate income tax rate by 0.2% down to 5.1%. State finance officials said that under the proposal, more than 1 million taxpayers who make more than $24,000 a year will receive a cut. Well, an ousted Tennessee lawmaker is back in the State House. Nashville officials unanimously reinstated Justin Jones just days after Republicans threw him and another Democrat out of the state legislature for leading a protest for stricter gun laws. Jared Hill has the latest.
Surrounded by supporters, Justin Jones back in the Tennessee State House less than a week after Republican colleagues banished him and fellow Democrat Justin Pearson.
We stand together and we will fight together.
Monday, the Nashville Area Council unanimously voted to put 27-year-old Jones back in place as an interim representative.
Our community members are more than capable of selecting their representative, and their will should have never been undermined.
In a rare move, last week the state GOP tossed Jones and Pearson out of the legislature. It was a reaction to them and fellow Democrat Gloria Johnson rallying for stricter gun laws on the House floor following the recent deadly school shooting.
You don't understand.
Republicans, who hold a supermajority, claim the 2 young black men, but not Johnson, a white woman, mocked House decorum using a bullhorn in the chamber. Another call for decorum Monday when spectators erupted in applause as Jones returned. The room now the center of a national conversation about American democracy. Memphis's Justin Pearson, who could be reinstated Wednesday, says this is bigger than him.
We need to use the democratic process of reappointment in order to ensure that we send a clear message that we care about the preservation of democracy, we care about the preservation of our First Amendment rights, we care about ending gun violence.
Since the appointment will be on an interim basis, special elections for the seats will take place in the coming months. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Both Jones and Pearson have said they plan to run in that special election. GOP leaders have insisted the expulsions had nothing to do with race, but instead were to avoid setting a precedent that protests that disrupt House proceedings would not be tolerated. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, another mass shooting.
Another American community reeling after a mass shooting. I'm Jared Hill with the latest on the shooting in Louisville, what we're learning about the victims.
Plus, as temperatures warm up and the sun draws more people outdoors, don't forget to protect yourself from those harmful UV rays. We've got tips from the experts on how to do just that. And Chris returns with your Tuesday forecast and lets you know just how great the weather will be this week. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Iowa's Attorney General is pausing funding for emergency contraception and in some cases abortion for sexual assault victims. Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird says she is evaluating whether this is an appropriate use of public funds. Until her review is complete, the state will be delaying payment of any pending claims that would assist victims of sexual assault. Iowa has provided emergency contraception like Plan B as well as abortions for sexual assault survivors since 1979. Under the program, victims of rape have not been responsible for paying for exams or medications required due to the assault. Planned Parenthood is calling the Iowa AG's decision, quote, deplorable and reprehensible, unquote. Well, the clock is ticking for mifepristone. That's the first pill in the 2-dose regimen that can terminate a pregnancy through 10 weeks gestation. However, Texas federal judge Matthew Kaczmarek ruled the FDA should suspend approval of the drug, saying the agency did not consider the trauma and stress women can suffer from ending a pregnancy. Dozens of officials from biotech and pharmaceutical companies signed an open letter backing the FDA's right to, quote, regulate safe, effective medicines for every American. Republican Representative Nancy Mace agrees, even though she considers herself pro-life. As the legal matter over the judge's ruling lies in limbo, abortion access varies significantly across the U.S. Well, a disturbing discovery connected to the Las Vegas mass shooting that killed 58 people and injured more than 500 in 2017. Letters obtained by CNN affiliate KTNV show the gunman, Stephen Paddock, was planning the attack as far back as 2014, that he repeatedly told a friend about a project that would occur in multiple cities across the U.S. Paddock reportedly sent 9 letters to his friend Jim Nixon between 2013 and June of 2017, referencing a project. The shooting happened at an outdoor country music concert at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. Authorities say Paddock fired on the crowd of about 22,000 people from the 32nd floor of the hotel. Now, the motive is still unclear. 5 people were killed yesterday when a bank employee opened fire on his coworkers in downtown Louisville. At least 8 people were also injured, including a newly sworn-in police officer. Jared Hill has the latest.
Heartache in Kentucky after yet another horrific mass shooting.
333 Main, Old National Bank. Another caller advising possibly 8 to 9 people have been shot.
Police responded within minutes yesterday morning to multiple 911 calls of an active shooter at the Old National Bank in downtown Louisville.
I got a call from my wife panicking that she was locked in the vault, that there was an active shooter in the building, and call 911.
Louisville's interim police chief said the suspect, identified as 25-year-old bank employee Connor Sturgeon, was shot and killed after a shootout with responding officers. 4 victims, all employees of the bank, died at the scene. They were 63-year-old Thomas Elliott, a close friend of Kentucky's governor, 64-year-old James Tutt, 45-year-old Juliana Farmer, and 40-year-old bank senior vice president Joshua Barrick, a married father of 2.
He's a big guy, and just had a bubbling personality, and you could tell he loved his family.
Last night, police said a 5th person, 57-year-old Deanna Eckert, also died. Among those injured was rookie Louisville police officer Nicholas Wilt. He was on the job just 2 weeks. Wilt was shot in the head and is stable but in critical condition.
I just swore him in, and his family was there to witness his journey to become a police officer.
After the shooting, authorities searched the suspect's home. A law enforcement source tells CBS News an AR-style weapon was used in the attack. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Police are still trying to determine a motive for the attack. President Biden expressed his sympathies to the victims and praised the quick reaction of the Louisville Metro Police in saving more lives. He also called on Congress to pass legislation to curb gun violence. Kentucky's governor ordered all flags on state buildings to fly at half staff until sunset on Friday in honor of the victims. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
A quick look outside at the MoDOT camera 20th and Range line. We've got ourselves a beautiful start to the day, and it's a beautiful start to an absolutely gorgeous day. But there are some changes on the way. We'll take a look at that complete forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:17. I almost said 4:17. I don't know what I'm thinking this morning. All right. No, I know what it is. It's Ron's fault because he just told me how much time I had for weather. It had a 4 in it, and now I'm thinking it's 4 in the morning. Thankfully, it's not. We're moving right along. Time for some weather trivia. We got this question for you. What volcano? We've talked about this in other questions. So what volcano was the source of the year without a summer in 1816? Was it Mount Krakatoa, Mount Vesuvius, Mount Tambora, or Mount Pelée? We'll take a look at the answer in a few more minutes. But first, live look at the MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line. We are looking good out there so far. I like how it's zoomed in because you get a really nice close-up view. These street signs and things, they're a lot bigger than they seem from the ground. All right, KDOT camera 69 and 400 looking good as well. Of course, that's just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera 7th and Range Line. Sky's starting to lighten up a bit as the sun begins to rise slowly but surely. We're at 53 in Joplin, clear skies. South breeze at 7 miles an hour. South breeze is for everybody. You get a south breeze, and you get a south breeze, and you get a south breeze. We've got decent temperatures too. 48 Miami, Chatopa, Parsons, 46 in Pittsburgh, Chanute, 47 Neodesha, 45 Fort Scott, 46 Nevada, 50 Lamar, 53 Carthage. We're sitting at 52 in Neosho. As we get our day started today and the next couple of days are going to be pretty simple forecasts. We got sunny skies, temperatures pushing around the mid to even upper 60s by late morning, so a beautiful day out there. We head into the afternoon, could see a couple of clouds like that. Otherwise, sunny skies. We warm up to about 74 by 4 o'clock. Some of us could even push the upper 70s as we go through today, especially in southeast Kansas. Sun rising, by the way, 6:49, and it will set tonight at 7:49. So 13 solid hours of daylight today. 51 for the overnight low, again, under completely clear skies out there. Now, what we are watching is a couple of changes on the way. Tomorrow actually looks pretty good. We start the day lower 50s again. We'll get back up into the even lower mid-70s, some of us into the upper 70s. Then we go into Thursday. We start the day lower 50s again. But Thursday, we're watching wind speeds increasing. We're looking at wind gusts on Thursday throughout the day of 30, 40 miles an hour ahead of an approaching storm system. So now we go into Friday. That's when we're watching for a potential severe weather setup. We have a dry line just out to our west. And you can see the thunderstorm activity on the future track. And the southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma areas right through this zone have been highlighted for a potential severe threat as we head into Friday evening and very early Saturday morning. So this is something we're keeping a close eye on. Still a few days away, but we want you to keep a close eye on it too. And these storms should be out of here by early Saturday morning, and it's going to leave us a little bit cooler as we head into Saturday as well. All right, back to our question. What volcano was the source of the year without a summer in 1816? Well, if you happen to pick Mount Tambora, you would be correct. The year without a summer brought worldwide starvation during the year of 1816 due to a lack of sunlight that was brought on by the volcano's ashes. It was a very significant eruption. Thankfully, no volcanic eruptions anticipated, at least not over the next few days, and certainly not here in the 4 states. We're up to 74 tomorrow, 75 Thursday, breezy. Friday, 80 degrees. Then we'll watch those thunderstorm chances. So make sure you've got the Skywatch weather app, and of course keep it right here to KOAM for Sam, Doug, or myself. We'll be keeping you updated as we get closer. Those clearing out Saturday morning, but it does kick our temperatures down. We go from 80 to 66. However, because spring has sprung, temperatures rebound quickly. 67 Sunday, back to the mid to upper 70s, near 80 as we head into the middle of next week. And then we're watching some additional pop-up thunderstorm chances as we head into Wednesday and Thursday of next week. That's a check of your forecast. We have got Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the national emergency for COVID-19 is officially over. The White House says President Biden signed legislation on Monday that ended the national emergency for COVID-19. White House had opposed the measure, but did say the president will sign it if passed. The administration had planned to end the national emergency on May 11th, which is also when the public health emergency is set to expire. It still remains in effect for 1 more month. A White House official says the administration has been winding down pandemic-related authorities over the past few months. A new research finds regions of the U.S. with the greatest decrease in opioid prescriptions also had the greatest decline in suicide deaths. There was concern suicide rates would spike as doctors shifted to prescribing fewer opioids. But a study at Columbia University found changes in opioid prescriptions and suicide rates tend to move in the same direction. Well, researchers in Michigan say they are making progress developing a medication to treat a form of fatty liver disease. Right now, there's no effective treatment for the condition known as NASH, a disease that causes scarring and inflammation of the liver. NASH has become the primary cause of chronic liver disease. And mint flavor may make vaping more appealing to some, but a new study finds the flavor could potentially damage the lungs. Researchers say e-cigarette liquids containing menthol generate a greater amount of toxic microparticles. Analysis shows people who vape with menthol took shallower breaths and had inferior lung function compared to non-menthol vapors. Well, spring break, daylight savings time, and warming temperatures are all helping more people get outside and enjoy the sun. But with rates of skin cancer on the rise, doctors are sharing what you and your family can do to stay safe. Claudia Cowan takes a closer look.
'Tis the season for spring break. But as people continue heading to warmer destinations for some fun and relaxation, doctors say don't forget to pack your sunscreen, citing an uptick in skin cancer cases.
Skin cancer is the most common type of cancer in the U.S., affecting over 5 million Americans each year. Worldwide, it's also a common public health concern as the incidence rate of skin cancer is increasing across the globe.
Even if your spring break plans don't include the beach, the onset of warmer weather this time of year usually causes people to start spending more time outside.
Prolonged exposure to the sun is a major risk factor in the development of skin cancer. Excessive UV radiation from the sun can lead to damaging changes in the skin cells. That leads to mutations that cause cancerous changes. This is especially true in individuals with fair skin, a tendency to burn easily, and in those with a personal or family history of skin cancer.
When it comes to preventing skin cancer, doctors say you want to spend fewer hours outside when the sun is at its peak intensity.
That being from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Wearing protective clothing can also minimize your exposure to the sun,
including wide-brimmed hats, long-sleeve shirts, and sunglasses.
When it comes to sunscreen, dermatologists recommend using one with an SPF of 30 or more and say you should apply every 2 hours and even more frequently if sweating or swimming. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a beautiful day ahead of us. A little cool for some of us as we start. We have 46 Fort Scott, Iola, Yates Center, Chanute, Independence, 49 in Parsons, 50 Chetopa, Miami, 51 Neosho, and 53 in Carthage. As we do get our day started, we'll have those sunny skies, temperatures push into the mid-60s by late morning, maybe a passing cloud or two this afternoon, highs making it into the mid-70s, maybe even the upper 70s for some of us. As we head into this evening, we're looking pretty good as well. We'll stay clear, chilly again, back down to the lower 50s, but it's a slow cool down, just like it has been the last few nights, still at 57 by 10 o'clock. Now, as we head into tomorrow, another beautiful day, sunny skies, 74, 75 Thursday. We're talking gusty winds, and then we are watching the possibility for some strong to severe thunderstorms later in the day on Friday. We'll take a complete look at your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 6:30, the Joplin chapter of the DAV hits the streets to help local veterans sign up for disability benefits.
We've got ourselves an absolutely gorgeous day as the sun breaks across the area. We'll take a look at that forecast and talk some storm chances coming up.
And don't be surprised to find a new addition to Joplin's parks. KOAM Shagun Bombadeli is live in Jomo to introduce us to the city's new park rangers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is almost 6:31 now. I'm Tanya Bott.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is a beautiful day that we've got ahead of us. It was a really nice day yesterday. We did have some of those pop-up storms in southeast Kansas, and we've got a couple more really beautiful days ahead of us before things start to change up a bit. All right, taking a live look at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline, looking back to the north. Traffic moving. As we've said before, it's always a good thing because it's not stopped unless the light is red, and I hope you stop for at least that. KDOT camera 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh, looking good as well as the sun begins to rise this morning. Look at those colors, absolutely beautiful from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. 53 in Joplin, south breeze at 7. not a bad start for us. We do have a few cool spots. We have a few warm spots, kind of hit and miss. We have 46, Fort Scott, Iola, Chinook, 49, Parsons, 50, Chitopa, Miami, 51 in Neosho, and 53 as we kick off the day in Carthage. We're going to have sunny skies. You saw in that tower cam shot, not a cloud in the sky. It's going to be beautiful. Mid-60s by late morning. Could have a passing cloud or two that looks like those up there. Otherwise, sunny skies today. Highs pushing right about the mid-70s. Some of us in southeast Kansas could even make the upper 70s. And then we head into tonight, clear skies, dropping back down to an overnight low of 51. Now here's what I wanted to show you. I got to press the button a couple of times to get there, but as we head into Thursday, first on Thursday, we're looking at wind gusts pushing 30, 40 miles an hour. So do be prepared for that. It's otherwise going to be a nice day. Friday, we're watching the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms. We've already got southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma highlighted for some severe weather. We're still a few days out. Things can change. But right now, we're looking at a dry line, thunderstorms ahead of that, and they'll make it into western Missouri and western Arkansas as we head into early Saturday morning. So we're going to keep a close eye on those storms for you and, of course, keep you updated on that severe threat as we get closer. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Montgomery County Sheriff's Office hopes to add a new drone to its fleet of drones. The Sheriff's Office applied for a grant through Hero Funds USA. If granted, the Sheriff's Office will have to come up with half of the cost of the $25,000 drone. Now, this new drone would have thermal imaging, among other uses. It could help with surveillance in standoff situations.
So utilizing these drones would be, we'd be able to send those in to try to make contact with the suspect, to try to develop intel where the suspect is inside this building, so that we can use that intel to help with our mission planning and to keep everybody safe.
Hero Fund USA is a private organization that helps first responders with equipment and gear. Local veterans got some extra assistance signing up for disability benefits. On Monday, Joplin's Disabled American Veterans Chapter number 52 hosted a mobile assistance unit in Airport Drive. It was a chance for veterans to get assistance or get answers to questions regarding disability benefits. Officials say it's important for veterans to know what they qualify for.
So many veterans out here that don't realize their benefits that they get. I mean, somebody bumps their head in basic training, he gets a headache, he has to go to the sick bay, he has a concussion because of it. As long as it's documented in his service records, that's a disability.
Joplin DAV is in need of volunteers to drive veterans to medical appointments. If you're interested, you can find contact information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Joplin has a new frontline force in its community, and they may not be law enforcement, but Joplin's park rangers are there to serve and protect the parks and the park's visitors. KOAM's Shagun Bomdale met the park rangers and has more live from Landreth Park in Joplin. Good morning, Shagun.
Joplin's new park rangers will serve as ambassadors for the city of Joplin, helping promote tourism and economic development. That's on top of working to keep the park safe and secure.
Citizens kind of felt unsafe in our parks, especially in the evening and whatnot. And then again, when we did our parks master plan, we did several community meetings, a survey, and that same concern was raised at that time as well.
Paul Bloomberg, the Joplin Parks and Recs director, says the park ranger presence brings the sought-after security feeling.
We want them to, what they do is patrol the parks, interact with the people, the kids, let the people know that there's a presence in the parks. A lot of our park users feel pretty safe in our parks when during the day. You know, when we have park workers out in the public mowing, trimming, there's always someone in the parks that's with the city.
One of the new park rangers says this may become his career.
I started out in armed security, working at colleges, hospitals, things like that. So when I saw this position came available, I was very happy that they considered me. And I definitely plan to make it a career, so I'm hoping that it sticks around for a very long time.
Ethan Yates says the job gives him an opportunity to interact with people and help others.
A lot of times when we go to the bigger parks, if we see the homeless laying down or sleeping, we'll go and speak with them just to make sure they're okay. Because a lot of times people will call that into the police without ever speaking to them, and that ties the police up a little bit. Whereas you can just ask them, hey, are you doing okay? You know, oh yeah, I was just sleeping, and move on from there.
The park rangers did not replace any existing staff. In fact, they will work with staff and work with law enforcement officers to report any irregularities around Joplin parks.
All right, thank you so much, Shagun.
Tanya?
Shagun, what has the response from the community been for these park rangers?
It has been great. A lot of people say they don't feel safe in the parks, and they need somebody. They need an assurance that if they come to the park, they want to be safe. They don't want to be attacked by people. They want to be safe, and for the most part, the community has been very well receptive of the new park rangers. Tanya?
All right, thank you so much, Shagun. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. This year, springtime means skiing.
It's been an epic ski season across much of the U.S. thanks to heavy snowfall. I'm Wendy Gillette with how that's increasing revenues at many resorts.
We don't have any opportunities to be skiing here in the 4 states, but we do have some really beautiful weather coming our way. We'll talk about all of that coming up.
And Consumer Watch this morning, on Wednesday, the Environmental Protection Agency is expected to release a new proposed regulation that would require more than half of new vehicles sold in the U.S. to be electric by the year 2030. That's according to industry and environmental officials briefed on the plan. The proposal would set greenhouse gas emissions limits for 2027 through 2032 passenger vehicles. The proposed rule will go through a public comment period and is not expected to be finalized until next year. Well, executives from hundreds of pharmaceutical companies have signed an open letter calling for the reversal of a Texas federal judge's ruling that halted the FDA's approval of the abortion pill, mifepristone. The letter says the decision set a precedent for diminishing the FDA's authority over drug approvals and creates uncertainty for the industry. And Juul Labs will pay nearly $8 million to settle a West Virginia lawsuit that alleges the company marketed its vaping products to underage users. The lawsuit accused Juul of engaging in unfair or deceptive practices in the design, manufacturing, and sale of e-cigarettes in violation of West Virginia state law. Last year, the San Francisco-based company agreed to pay nearly $440 million to settle a legal threat after an investigation by 33 states and Puerto Rico alleged the company had targeted its product to teens. Well, this year's ski season is not over yet thanks to record-breaking snowfall in some areas. Alta, Utah has recorded an incredible 877 inches, the most in the nation. Wendy Gillette has the latest on this season.
Mammoth Mountain in California is getting a mammoth amount of snow this ski season, shattering an all-time record. And the season won't end until at least July. It's the same story at many other ski areas in the West, including in the Tahoe region, which is experiencing its snowiest season since the early 70s, pushing back closing dates for weeks.
It's the atmospheric rivers we've gotten. They piled up one after the other this year. Most of them were cold storms.
Here at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort in Wyoming, the snowfall easily surpassed the seasonal average, making for great conditions extending into this month.
588 inches fell this season, just shy of the record 593 inches measured in 2016 and 17.
It's been amazing. We are the beneficiary of some of the best snowfall in the Americas.
This year's amazing season turned into amazing revenues for hotels like the Four Seasons Resort and Residences Jackson Hole, where we stayed for a special rate. The resort, which features a wealth of after-ski spots, cozy rooms, and year-round pools, is the only one right at the base of the mountain. Stays are up as much as 8% this winter compared to pre-pandemic 2019.
The moment we get quote-unquote dumped on, our availability goes from a lot to very little.
As snow totals rose, so did the prices of lift tickets, hitting over $300 at Arizona's Snow Bowl in January. One way to avoid sticker shock is to consider lesser-known resorts, like Snowy Range in Wyoming, where tickets start at $49, or the state's Sleeping Giant ski area, where you'll find tickets as low as $59. Jackson Hole has a program which reimburses airfare in exchange for money spent on activities that's likely to continue next season. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Heavy snowfall has not been positive for every ski resort, but some have shut down for brief periods because they got so much snow. It also increased the risk of avalanches. For a limited time, you can get married in a Wienermobile. Oscar Mayer says it will host weddings in its first Wienermobile of Love this coming weekend. Where else would the event take place? But Las Vegas, baby. The company says couples can book a 30-minute spot online or join the wait list if demand is too high. They should come with a valid Las Vegas wedding license. Oscar Mayer says it will foot the on-site bill, provide a photographer, and even have hot doggers on hand to serve as witnesses. Wonder if they'll be dressed up as ketchup and mustard. That'd be good. I don't know why I said jelly. That'd be really weird. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a pretty pleasant day ahead of us. A nice start to the morning, sunny skies, mid-60s by late morning. We'll take another full look at your forecast in just a few more minutes. But first, I've got a great stretch of weather, as I just mentioned, and that's a great reason to celebrate some birthdays and anniversaries. They're coming up next. But before we get to those, we're going to go check out what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, David Azenbegno's got the inspiring story of a competitive golfer. Pretty good swing there, only 9 years old, and had a heart transplant when she was 2. Plus, see her trying to teach our intrepid correspondent, Mr. Begno, how to play himself. That is coming up on CBS Mornings.
Welcome back. Time for some Tuesday birthdays. We begin with a belated birthday wish going out to Lexi Zwalen in Oswego, turning the big number 7 on Easter Sunday. Happy birthday, Lexi.
And Abigail George celebrating birthday number 9 this year. Abigail, birthday wishes coming with love from mom and family.
And we've got Lucy Zom celebrating birthday number 10 over in Baxter Springs. Happy birthday, Lucy.
Emma Miller is 11 years old this year in Seneca. Emma, happy birthday from mom and dad, Maddie, Chief, and Nanny.
And Braxton Whitley celebrating birthday number 13 on Saturday in Chanute. Big happy birthday and welcome to the teen years, Braxton.
Out in Parsons, Andrew Hook turning 14 years old. Happy birthday.
And Addison Hart in the O-Show celebrating birthday number 15. And another belated birthday. Got a few late birthdays today, so a very happy birthday to you, Addison.
All right. Dirk Skigler celebrating birthday number 15 up in Fort Scott. His was a belated birthday as well on Sunday.
And Craig Cowarden celebrating birthday number 34 with a great throwback picture there over in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday wishes coming from Mom, Dad, Haley, AJ, Shane, and Willow.
Allison Zink is 38 years old this year. Ooh, look at her all dressed up for as Batwoman. Allison is 38.
We've got Ryan Herlocker celebrating birthday number 44 in Girard. Happy birthday wishes coming from Dad. He says he's sure proud of his son. Happy birthday, Ryan.
And Monday was time for Christy Manier to celebrate, and you can continue celebrating on today. There's a little throwback picture there of Christy.
And last but not least, we have Gary Shelton celebrating birthday number 96 in Fort Scott. Gary's a resident at Medical Lodges. A very happy birthday to you, Gary. And of course, this was great to celebrate. We love celebrating with you, and I know you want to celebrate with us. Tanya, how do they go about celebrating with us?
All they have to do is send their birthdays to this email at KOAMnewsnow.com. Birthdays at KOAMnewsnow.com. Don't forget that part.
And of course, don't forget to take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It's easy to do. You get great deals from local businesses, and you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, let's take a quick look at temperatures across the area. We've got 54 in Joplin, 48 Miami, Chetopa, Parsons, 46 Chanute, Yates Center, Fort Scott, and Iola, 49 in Pittsburgh, 51 Neosho, and 53 in Carthage. As mentioned earlier, as we get our day started, we got those sunny skies. Mid-60s by late morning, maybe a passing cloud or two this afternoon. Otherwise, beautiful conditions. 74. Some of us might even make the upper 70s. Down to the lower 50s tonight, and we hold on to those clear skies, so we got another wonderful evening ahead of us. We are watching some changes on the way, though. Now, tomorrow, another beautiful day. Mid-70s, mostly clear skies. A few more clouds Thursday. Winds picking up, though. 75, and we're looking at winds gusting 30, 40 miles an hour ahead of this. We're watching the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms Friday evening into early Saturday morning. So it's something we're going to keep a close eye on. Make sure you're keeping a close eye on it. Otherwise, 80 degrees Friday, then down to 66 Saturday. And we start to warm right back up. Upper 60s Sunday, mid-70s by Monday under sunny skies. Well, wouldn't it be cool if a founding father could lead you on a tour of the school you plan to attend? Wouldn't it be even cooler if he was a robot? Well, coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, we're taking you to the University of Virginia where, in fact, a robot, Thomas Jefferson, leads prospective students on a tour of the school. And we're not making this up. The future and the past meet when the KOAM Morning News makes the switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m. We'll be right back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A woman is injured after driving her car into a Joplin building. It happened Monday afternoon on South Wall Avenue. Police say she was driving at an excessive speed and lost control going over some former railroad tracks before hitting the brick wall. The driver was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now that recreational cannabis is legal statewide, Missouri cities and counties must work out the fine print. Webb City, Missouri joins the trend of Missouri cities setting a public use ordinance on recreational cannabis. And city officials say this ordinance upholds the community standards with law enforcement backing. Local veterans get some extra assistance signing up for disability benefits. On Monday, Joplin's Disabled American Veterans Chapter number 52 hosted a mobile assistance unit in Airport Drive. It was a chance for veterans to get assistance or get answers to questions regarding disability benefits. Officials say the Joplin DAV needs volunteers to drive veterans to medical appointments. And the city of Joplin has added new members to its payroll. The city hired 2 new rangers to help maintain and enhance the city's park system. The addition of these new rangers will help ensure that Joplin's parks remain safe, clean, and enjoyable for everyone who visits. The 2 new rangers will work alongside the existing park staff to maintain the parks and trails, monitor park activities, and educate visitors about the rules and regulations of the park system. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got a beautiful day for us today. Mostly sunny skies, maybe a cloud or two out there, mid-70s, some of us even into the upper 70s. As we head into this evening, we hang on to clear skies, a nice, slow, easy cool down. We'll eventually drop back to the lower 50s. And as we look ahead, another nice day tomorrow, mid-70s, breezy Thursday, gusts 30, 40 miles an hour, mid-70s. As we head into Friday, though, 80 degrees looks good, but we're watching the possibility of a few strong to severe thunderstorms, at least a possibility of those Friday evening and Saturday morning. We'll keep an eye on that, and we're dropping back to the 60s for the weekend.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making cheesy stuffed herb chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. This morning, we'll meet a talented 9-year-old golfer who underwent a heart transplant when she was just 2 years old. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, we've got Jasmine Kyle, director of the SEK Humane Society, stopping by with tips for prospective pet owners who might want to start off by fostering a fur buddy instead of jumping right into adoption.
Plus, Megan Bourne from Art Feeds heads to the studio to tell us about a new fundraiser called Move for 38 and how you can take part. That's going to wrap it up for us for now here on KOAM. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you again today at noon.